You rely on it to drink, to wash, to live. It's water that may contain something you didn't expect.
I mean, is this something just found out in the last few days, few months, few years?
Radiation, turning each glass and even the plumbing
Going far, it's going way out.
into a risk that can become a reality.
This is really disturbing.
Tonight, you'll hear from water companies,
Any issues of public health do concern me.
from health experts,
These aren't just statistics, these are real people.
and from citizens.
You come drink this water, and then you tell me how you feel in 2 years.
And we'll talk with state regulators accused of ignoring
This paper has never crossed your desk?
and even covering up illegal amounts of radiation.
The documents show that they clearly gave the order saying, change the results.
It's a statewide problem with implications for our country.
Bottom line, you're concerned for the safety of the nation's drinking water.
Yes.
It's a KHOU 11 News special investigation, a matter of risk, radiation, drinking water, and deception. Good evening and welcome. Investigations involving the public health are often difficult to do and even controversial.
But by their very nature, they can be of vital importance to an audience.
Which is why for the past year, reporter Mark Greenblatt has investigated something health officials know about, but you may not. That in many Texas communities, the drinking water is contaminated with radiation.
Our purpose in the next hour is not to alarm you, but to inform you, the public, about a health risk you may have been exposed to. A risk you have a right to know about and understand. Here's Mark Greenblatt.
Greg Len, Americans have come to trust their tap water. And why not? The Federal Safe Drinking Water Act demands that water companies run a gauntlet of safety testing before sending you the one thing you can't live without, which is why what we found is so surprising. We'll begin tonight's journey with a town in Central Texas.
Well, we've got a Geiger counter here. Let's see what it shows.
And what it shows is a warning
10 parts to 11 and more.
of radiation
It's going far, it's going way out.
coming off of this metal pipe and others like it, dug up from the Texas soil.
It's not as if these pipes have been in the ground for decades.
No, you're talking 4 to 5 years.
So what made them this way? Drinking water.
And that's what's causing the radiation.
Correct.
Water for the homes and businesses of Brady, Texas. Water that made these pipes so radioactive, now even the junkyard won't take them. Something that worries city manager James Minor.
It just brings lots of questions into my mind as to what's that doing to the people drinking it. That says there's an issue,
A serious issue.
serious issue.
You see, Texas is a state that's rich in underground minerals, things like radium and uranium, ones that also happen to be radioactive. The problem is that much of the state also relies on underground reservoirs for much of its drinking water. The result, well, it's a health risk in a glass, one that state officials seem to want to forget.
You actually have a Geiger counter here?
But Ralph Carlisle says he's reminded every day.
Yes, sir.
At the scrapyard he manages near Brady.
But anything over 6,
You turn away.
I turn away.
Like home water heaters, water tanks, and water distribution pipes that are too radioactive.
People worried about cancer out here?
Well, sure, yeah, not only cancer, I mean, just anything else that could come their way.
In fact, he says,
Nobody drinks the water.
You now drink bottled water.
That's all we'll drink, yeah.
but what really worries him are the kids.
Child, you can tell 40 times a day not to drink that water, and he's going to do it. Us adults, of course, we know, and drink at your own risk.
And even worse, says Carlisle.
We're not just talking about the city of Brady here.
No, sir. All the surrounding area.
Take a look. Test results from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, reveal the problem: radioactive radium, with water wells in Melvin, Texas, showing nearly 2 times what's allowed by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. In Brady, there was more than 3 times the radium limit. North San Saba, more than 4 times. Millersview, with 11 times the limit for radium. And towns across central Texas similarly affected.
It troubles me that people are being exposed.
Dr. Bill Field is a health physicist and epidemiologist.
Would you drink the water?
No, I wouldn't.
Who advises the United States EPA on radiation and health issues.
I don't think I've ever seen it to the extent like there is in Texas.
But besides drinking contaminated water, Field says there's another health threat, and it comes from those pipes. First, he says, when they're made of metal.
It's sort of like a magnet. It attracts the radium.
Pulling some of it out of the water and onto its inside surface. So the radium builds up and sits there for years, where
It can produce radon.
radon gas, one of the top causes of lung cancer, that gets carried in the water to be released right into your home by running a dishwasher or just showering.
It's not a question of might it happen.
No, it will happen.
It will.
It will.
Which makes what we uncovered even more disturbing. Turns out state officials have known about the area's radium problem for years. Take this white paper from 2001 on Texas's radiation and water problems, written by the agency's top scientists, that found over 200,000 Texans drink from public water systems with relatively high levels of radium, and states an additional 1 out of every 400 people would experience cancer in some areas of Texas, posing a potentially serious health concern.
1 in 400 is a high amount in your mind.
Oh, it's unacceptable. 1 in 400 is just unacceptable.
Through the roof.
Oh, it's terribly high.
Here you have water flowing through pipes that look like this, that are Peg and Geiger counters. People are drinking the water out of that.
So we paid a visit to the TCEQ.
What do you make of that?
And their manager for public water, Elston Johnson.
We need to look into it. I guess it's the first I've heard of it.
So what about the state's own findings on radium?
This white paper says that all the communities that are taking water out of the Hickory Aquifer without filtering it for radiation, that the drinking water would be unusable out of the Hickory.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that, so.
But I sent this ahead of time, long before I'm sitting here today. Have you not reviewed this paper?
What you're talking, haven't seen it.
But hold on. You see, after our interview with Johnston, we found this letter from TCEQ files, dated April 2010, talking about the very same white paper and forwarding it, in fact, to the Texas Radiation Advisory Board. And who signed it? Elston H. Johnson, manager of public drinking water. And yet, he told us.
This paper has never crossed your desk as the manager?
Nope.
But when we showed an agency scientist those radioactive water pipes...
This would be cause for concern, yes.
And as for the people drinking the water...
I understand their concern, and I think that it should be studied more.
But months later, Brady officials say that hasn't happened, with no sign of the TCEQ scientists who were supposed to do more radiation testing. So, KHOU TV returned to Brady with a radiation health scientist to take samples of their water, first at the city's wells, before the water entered the distribution pipes, then after it left those pipes at 6 different homes. Then we sent it all off to an EPA-certified lab to be tested. And what were the results? We found the water going into the pipes had radium in amounts over the legal limit, but when it reached the homes, the amount of radium had decreased, indicating some of it was sticking to the pipes. But we also found, as Dr. Field predicted, that the water now had more radon gas that could be released into those homes.
Next, it's not just Central Texas that has a problem. Across the state, scientists have found a form of radiation in the public water that can be particularly damaging if you drink it.